it's adult, so there's not really many rules or regulations.
I just assumed.
Yeah, so it's all good.
No language.
Yeah, you're right. You can say everything except for.
Yeah.
There's a couple things that I would have to edit out, which we to avoid that because it's been a while. So we'll just kick it off as normal. I'll get our intro going.
Not me.
All right, y'all. If you're a fan of the show and you tune in weekly or however often you tune in, make sure you're liking us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Made to Motivate Podcast. Subscribe and hit the bell on YouTube. That way you know when we upload new videos to that channel. And do what you can to share the page when we have new episodes. We appreciate all the support. And with that being said,
You know what time it is.
Podcast Tuesday!
Live from Made to Motivate.
Has a goddamn
Podcast.
goal to his house on a Tuesday night? Damn it!
What up, guys? It's hot in here. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm fucking sweating.
It's chilly outside, though.
Dude, it's
I think it
warm.
feels good in here.
Made to Motivate Podcast. This is season 3, episode 2, I think. Episode 2. This is your host, Ryan Weiss. I'm joined, as always, by Jesse Young from Sports Illustrated.
What's going on?
How's it going, sir?
It's going all right.
You were on time today. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Have to be up till 1 a.m. recording the show.
I'm always on time. That's just the character that we've written in.
Oh, that's right.
It's a gimmick now.
Chris, the film freak Kessinger.
What's up, sir?
How's it going?
Well, not quite as good as Chris Evans, but pretty good nonetheless.
Ooh. I mean, we could change that. And we've got a special guest tonight. We've got Norm. I do not know how to pronounce your last name, but
Carreiro.
Norm Carreiro is here. He's going to talk all kinds of fun stuff with us. So like we mentioned last week, we've got 3 guests lined up so far for the beginning of season 3. If you'd like to be on the show, let us know. We're going to try and fill out as many spots as we can with cool stories, interesting jobs, whatever you want to come on and talk about, hang out. What's new and exciting from last week, Jesse? Anything new crazy at school?
Not really. I mean, did we talk about my first week there? Like
Yeah.
with kids?
Mm-hmm.
How the fucking internet went out?
Oh, no, I don't think we did.
Dude.
Because the last time we recorded it, you were having kids come the next day, I think. So
Right, yeah. So kids showed up for in-class work. We are not allowed to give them any type of paper and pencil because of COVID.
right.
So they have their own iPads. They bring them in. They take them home. We do all of the work digitally, which is why I've been having to work my ass off because I have to take everything that I've accumulated over 5 or 6 years of teaching and
Right.
put it onto an iPad. So we get it all going. My first day is just an introductory assignment. It's like a scavenger hunt that I made,
Yeah.
how to navigate that little Bitmoji classroom that I told you guys about, how to get on your Google Classroom, how to submit, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
It's mostly just for fun.
Yeah.
As soon as they all sign on, district-wide, the
Everything
entire
crashes.
internet goes down. So
I think it was more than, I think it was
Damn.
several districts because my one friend's got 2 young kids that are in, and she said the first like 3 hours of the day, they just sat there and cried because nothing worked.
Yeah.
It was
So-
awful.
I'm in there with only like 4 kids that first day,
Yeah.
but the one is like wild. Like the dude's got, I won't
Is this
say
the
any
one that said
names
he
because
was
I
gonna-
can't. Yeah. So he comes in and it's not really his fault because he has an IQ of 60. So he's like a high functioning, like
We got it.
slower
Is that
kid,
good?
you know, average is 100.
Okay.
You're subpar, Chris.
He,
It's okay.
he just can't, he
Carry
just
the
can't
two.
handle it. So this dude comes in and like the whole time he's got his like mask down to his nose or under his chin. And I'm
Yeah.
like, hey man, you know, you got to put your mask on. You got to do this and that. And he's not really listening. And he goes, man, if I got that COVID, I swear I'd come in here and just be like, and he pulls his mask down and goes into the air of the classroom. And I'm looking at him like,
Dude.
what the fuck are you doing, man? So I look over at Peggy, who's like our intervention specialist. She deals with like,
She's in like the class with
she
you?
deals with kids with like IEPs and
Okay.
special needs and stuff. And she's not freaking out.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, all right, I'm not going to freak out. And I just went over to her and I'm like, you got to handle this shit because I fucking can't right now. So, but yeah, so we still haven't reached like 9 of our kids, I think.
Damn,
And
dude.
all of the ones that are remote learning, only 1 has turned anything in. And he guessed on it all. Like he just went through and like clicked all the
That's my
multiple
man.
choice shit.
Right.
So I messaged him. I'm like, hey man, like you got to actually fucking do it. Like
Dude, it's
But he did
awful.
better than everybody else, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Turned it in.
Yeah.
To start.
I also fucked up my my buddy's like screen recordings because
Yeah.
he's recording everything to go online for like the other students. So the first one, like something crazy happened upstairs, and I walked down. And I'm like, "Hey man, I got to tell you something really funny about this kid." And he's like, "I'm recording right now."
Oh no.
So I'm like, "Oh, I'll just tell you later." And I
Just
leave.
kidding.
And like earlier in the week when we were making assignments and stuff, he kept typing on my notes.
Yeah.
So I went into one of his assignments and I wrote, "You're a douchebag," and I forgot about it. So he was sharing that today. And he's like live streaming it all and everything. He's trying to like show a parent, like, yeah, this is how he gets to his assignment. And he opens it up and it's like, "You're a douchebag."
No.
He's like, "Dude, what the fuck? It's the second time you fucked up my recordings."
Leave it to Jesse.
So there's at least a
Asshole.
little bit of good stuff, but
Yeah.
I've been drinking a lot of water too. That's
You said
something
that.
else
You
I
got one.
changed.
Where's your jug at?
I don't have it here. I'm drinking a Coke now, but this is the first pop I've drank in like 4 weeks.
And that's what I was going to ask you. Like, so you're giving up pop as a whole then?
I'm not like trying to give anything up. It's just I'm drinking a gallon of water every single day just
Yeah.
because.
Okay.
And that's like changed a lot of stuff just because like I was drinking coffee in the morning, but I just can't finish the jug if I even do that. So I started drinking the water and I was like, I'll make one day without coffee and see how it goes. I'm totally awake just
You
with the
feel
water.
so much better.
I
too.
do.
Yeah, like I gave it up in 2007.
I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah, I gave it up cold turkey like
did
that
say
and
that.
kind of adapted my eating habits too. I went from 300 pounds to 225.
That's
You
crazy.
went.
You were 300 pounds?
Yeah.
You gave it up for G2. You stopped soda for G2.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
for
you went,
Gatorade G2.
Yeah, that
yeah.
was it. That was, yeah, it was like, because I mean, G2 is not great for you.
No.
But it's a hell of a lot better than
Honestly,
soda, right?
Right.
Yeah, it was like a 10-step
It
program.
was like when
I'd
I
say
quit
transition.
smoking to chew for chewing tobacco.
Yeah.
It was like the same thing. It's kind of like trading one unnecessary
Yeah.
for another one just because the other one was worse, in my opinion.
Right. Nobody had the heart to tell me, "Hey, fat ass, that's no good either."
It's hard to go cold turkey though. At least you transition off of it because
Yeah.
otherwise you're just gonna probably go back way quicker.
I probably couldn't do it if I drank a lot of, like I already drank a lot of water,
Yeah.
but I didn't drink enough of it. So I was like, I'm just going to force myself to drink this jug every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel great. I
You
woke
do
up
feel
at
better.
6:30 on Saturday and like tried to force myself back to sleep and I couldn't. So I just got up at 7 and was like fully like energized, didn't feel tired all day.
Is that what that is?
Knocked a bunch of shit out, like
Are you drinking purified water or spring water?
drinking tap
I'm
water.
gonna say tap water. That's the best way.
Akron tap water.
Hey, it's
is
amazing.
amazing.
Clearly, you never watched
Yeah.
Down to Earth with Zac Efron. It's okay. We'll let it slide.
He takes his shirt
Their-
off 3
that whole
times.
episode is about tap water. They only had the one segment where they're talking about spring. I do like spring water, but I'm not going to pay for it.
Now you'll be amazed what water will just do for your body in general.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
like I do. Obviously, I lift a lot of weights. Couldn't tell, but
Me too.
no, my joints were just
Yeah.
terrible for a long time, and I couldn't figure out why. I was taking joint supplementation, fish oils, cod liver oil, stuff like that. I know some individuals were like, dude, just get some gelatin, that'll help. I just wasn't
Yeah.
drinking enough water. It's
Yeah.
amazing what your body does with it. It
Yep.
lubricates the joints, and it was just like night and day. So
Like ultimately, like that's what you're supposed to put into your body.
Yeah,
Like it's the
right.
same thing with like you were talking about smoking and stuff. People are like, well, vapes are better, and it's like maybe, but only air's supposed to go in there. Like
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel great though.
Yeah, that's cool. Water does the body good. Milk apparently does not, though. They say
Mm.
it's not supposed to be as good for you as they lead you to believe growing up.
It's good for bone strength, isn't it?
I don't know.
No. Okay.
Osteoporosis or something.
All right.
I had a teacher tell me one time that if you didn't drink enough milk up into the age of like 10,
Yeah.
you're basically fucked as an adult. And I was like, well, shit. All right.
Right.
Not going to start drinking milk now.
Happy to be on board, boys.
It's all that shit we learned growing up that like was never true. Like apparently like milk's not that great for you to like drink on the daily basis like they made it out to be.
Yeah.
But
Well, like bone strength and stuff, they say like mostly like your green vegetables and stuff do
Right.
better for that than milk does, and like you can get way more calcium from other shit you wouldn't even think of.
Milk is terrible for me now. Like after my surgery,
yeah.
terrible. I mean, my
Does your body
stomach just
bad?
does not. It doesn't do milk very well now.
Yeah. Christopher. What is new, sir?
Couple things. First of all, another family video is closing, obviously, in Springfield.
Oh yeah.
That one I talked about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But I am going to buy 2 of their shelves and put them in my basement.
Nice.
So
like the actual movie shelving?
I'm clearing out my basement,
Dope.
and, like, because my VHSs are just locked away in boxes right now.
Yeah.
So I'd love to get those out too.
Oh,
and
that'll be so retro.
put them on there. That's what I'm saying. Like, you do like a retro corner downstairs.
How much do those
legit.
cost? Like the shelves?
$10 they're selling them for.
What?
But if you wait probably a week, Family Video, usually it goes down to about $5 by the time they're desperate, because they don't want to chop them up.
Did I eat
A
one of
whole
those?
shelf
Yeah.
for 10. Oh, wow.
Yeah, like, and it's 4 different. One of them has 5, but the other one has 4 different rows on them.
So
what
it's
are
the
you up to?
display unit and then the shelves that go across. You're getting the whole thing.
Yeah,
What are you up to? 5,000 VHS now? DVDs? Like
40, almost 4,700.
4,700?
Yeah.
That's wild.
I still think you should make it a background for a YouTube channel that one day you'll never have.
No,
Yes.
You know?
another stale dream, huh?
Yes. Seriously though, man, all those freaking videos you got is a great backdrop.
But just that, and I've been talking with my buddy. He does a podcast in Canada. He's been doing it for a couple years.
Yeah.
And he's thinking about starting a media page, and he asked me if he could share some of my reviews on there.
Fuck yeah.
So I
Oh,
said, yeah, absolutely, no problem.
You're getting paid.
We're working out those specifics if it ever goes to money value. So
Yeah.
Nice.
Those are value.
mhm.
Those are serious reviews, man.
You're serious, man.
For a split second, I thought you were about to say you were going to buy a Family Video. When you said they were closing, I was like, wait, are you about to buy one?
That's a Chris thing to do. I
Yeah,
think he does
dude.
it, yeah.
I'm gonna keep it alive.
If it wasn't such a horrible
He
business,
just rent
venture
out all of
now-
his own movies.
Chris is the
Yeah.
cliche like movie guy. He's like, no, what's your favorite movie? Okay, it's this from 1967. And
I know people just come up to me and they go, "Yeah, it was this movie with that guy that was in it last year," and I'm like,
Got you.
You know, terms of endearment, or,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But that's all. Nothing too exciting, but yeah,
Cool.
about it.
I don't think anything's. Well, we'll talk about that. Made to Motivate. We did the Venmo
Yeah,
thing this weekend.
can't wait to talk about that.
That's really all I think I've done since last week. I got a lot of progress on the deck, actually. Like, I have been knocking out. We should be done soon. You know, I totally forgot that this Sunday, yesterday, was supposed to be our cookout.
like our,
We were going to do
our show
the
cookout.
Duma Meets cookout at my house.
But I thought we were just waiting until the deck was
I know
done.
the date. That was the date we had tentatively planned for, and then I
Yeah.
never fucking finished
I'm
the
still,
deck.
I'm still down, but
So
What else do you have to do? Just
the
the steps?
the steps is pretty much it, and then I actually attaching the rafters to the pergola. But I mean, I knocked out a good portion of the steps yesterday. I'm like, I should be done this week.
I'll bring the meat. You
Gotcha.
bring the wood.
I got the wood, bro.
Cool.
I'll bring the
Um,
bourbon.
I like your plan.
That's really it. I think I worked on the deck. We went out this weekend. Nothing exciting. Nothing much has been going
Shot
on.
around
Oh, we did.
Yep.
Yeah, we checked out that green.
family fun zone.
Dude, that place is pretty dope.
Where's that at? Or is it in green?
It's in green, but
Well, I didn't know. Maybe it was like greens or something.
it's in Cuyahoga Falls.
Hudson Family Fun Zone. Where's it at?
Dude, it's a cool course. It was
Yeah.
tough though, man. Like it's not a lot of obstacles like a birdie shack or something, but the gradients of the course
Strategy.
is so hardcore. Dude, gotta drain the main vein.
Got me dead.
Leave it to Jesse.
I'd make fun of him, but I've done the same thing a couple times.
Jesse had too much water. He's a small child and can't hold his pee. So that was really it. Nothing too crazy. So I'd say we get into Made to Motivate. We can talk about an update on Venmo Challenge, and we will introduce Norm's story and kind of go from there.
I was starting to wonder.
Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it!
Yo, okay, Made to Motivate. So Jesse doesn't know what the Venmo Challenge is anyway, so it's fitting that he's in the bathroom while we discuss it.
Let's have him explain it again.
So we completed week 1. We went out, me and Chris went out this weekend. We visited Town Tavern in Green, where Green Family Fun Zone is located as well.
You don't say.
And we tipped. I guess we tipped the money that we raised. So between everything that everyone donated to the Venmo, we raised $160. And then for that first week, me and Chris committed $100 each to match up to $100 each, whatever you guys donated. So we went out $360. I'd say we got a pretty great reaction out of her. She was definitely shocked. Got some tears out of her, which was good. We wanted to make someone's day. That was really the whole point of it. This week, week 2, we're up to $60 so far.
Oh, nice start.
For day 1, starting off week 2. So it's going really good. We're going to continue this as long as we can. The plan is for all of season 3. But really as long as you guys are willing to participate. So that's Venmo is MTM podcast if you'd like to donate any funds to that. And then we will pick somewhere new this weekend to go out and give somebody some money. And that's really it for the update on that, just so you guys know where we're at. There's a YouTube video. I'll link in the description of the show. You can check out us doing it. We are filming them. We asked if they were okay with it so that we were holding ourselves accountable on the money's not going to us. Me and Chris didn't go to the titty bar or something and spend all your money. We actually gave it out to somebody. So outside of that, this segment's going to be dedicated to Norm and his story. So we're going to talk about, we'll just let Norm introduce himself and we can kind of go from there on just talk, see what we can come up with. So Norm, tell us a little bit about yourself. You gave me a little bio that I wrote up for your, advertisement for the show, but if you want to give us a synopsis and then we can kind of get into more detail.
I'm Norm. I've known Chris for a long time. I think, what's it been?
2006.
When I started.
It was May 12th at 2:30.
Actually, I think it was April.
It was April. April 15th or 16th.
I started backyard wrestling with the WDF, which is our backyard wrestling federation. World Domination Federation. I still miss those days. Some of the best days, man.
Not alone.
But yeah. So I've known Chris for a long time. But yeah, no, I was an MMA fighter, disabled military vet, more specifically Army. Battled PTSD, mental illness, obesity, and kind of came back from it, and now trying to really give my life some meaning at this point, essentially, MMA wise, we'll just start there. We'll start with the MMA. I started training and fighting when I was 18. First became interested in just competitive fighting in general when my old stepdad took me to a tough man competition in Huntington, West Virginia. I was 13, 14 years old. And I was like, I want to do that. And he was like, oh, got to be 18, So I was like, when I turn 18, I'm going to fight. That's what I'm going to do. Well,
was it the athleticism? Was it the spectacle? What drew you in?
I'm an aggressive person. I grew up, I genetically inherited my father's temper and just, his love for violence. And I loved fighting as a kid. Got suspended from school a few times. So I was just naturally aggressive. That's why I was so good at football, wrestling, any sport that was just an aggressive sport, I was good at.
For sure.
Not to mention, I love the crowd. That's my high.
Mm-hmm.
I get off on the crowd cheering for me, cheering for something I do. And fighting is just that. You land a punch, the crowd goes wild. I feed off of the energy. I get an adrenaline spike. That's my high. I just keep going. So that's what drew me into it. And I was just like, that's what I want to do. I want to be a fighter. I think that I'm good at this. And I was always a naturally strong person to begin with. I was just good genetics for that. Turned 18, did a tough man competition in Akron, Ohio at the Chaparrals under Randy Jarvis. And my first fight was against a 330-pound truck driver. His name was Ed. I remember this guy because his whole fan base was talking shit because at the time I was 280. I was out of shape, smoking 2 packs of Newport a day.
Norm was a big boy when he was.
I was gonna say.
But I'm also 5'7", so this guy was 6'4", 330 pounds. So his whole fan base was just like, "You're gonna fuck this guy up. This guy's nothing." And I just ate it. You know, I was like, "Oh, I'm pissed now," and I was just angry. Fast forward to the fight, I sent him to the hospital in the second round. Jeez. And knocked him out in the second round, sent him to the hospital. And the announcer at the time, because they had to put the show on hold, said, "Oh, you know, Big Norm needs to watch that jackhammer of a right hand next time. You know, we got to take a 15-minute intermission, you know, because they needed they need another ambulance to come in."
Jeez.
So that's where I got my MMA ring name, the jackhammer.
Okay. Yeah, I know that.
And then I got offered to go pro for boxing by the Jarvis family, and I was supposed to fight in September of 2006, I believe. Never happened.
Yeah.
He ended up replacing me as a pro, which is kind of like a blessing in disguise, because at the time, if I would have went pro, I would have not been able to be an amateur mixed martial artist. So that gave me the opportunity to become an amateur MMA fighter. Yeah. And 6 months later, I was, think about this. I was 280 at the Tough Man. 6 months later, I was 320 pounds. Jeez. So I just started getting heavy.
Yeah.
I was in a very toxic relationship. And it was, Chris knows, very toxic relationship. I was into drugs. I had alcohol poisoning 5 times.
Jeez.
I was just very bad road.
Yeah.
And then about a month before my daughter was born, I decided to give up, the drugs, the alcohol. And I was like, I'm going to lose this weight. Yeah. You know, I'm going to lose the weight. We're going to go ahead and try to get down to 265. That was the weight class that I needed to be able to get at. I took a fight 7 weeks. Is how much time. So in 7 weeks, I lost 66 pounds for this fight, for my first fight, which took place February 17, 2007 at the Chaparrals.
Yeah.
I fought what was his name? Shad Conley. He was 0-2. I was supposed to be the guy he got his first win against. I knocked him out in 56 seconds. And that's when I knocked him out, hit a backflip, became the flying meatball. You know, that was the
and there's video of it online too.
I love it.
So I became my popularity came from a fat guy being able to do a backflip. I was just naturally athletic. It was just, something that I did, but people laughed at, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this after every win.
Yeah. A
month later, I fought again against Troy Brown, very good guy. I got an opportunity to talk to him recently. We got to shoot the shit a little bit, and I ended up beating him in the first round. And from there, man, I was like on cloud 9. Yep. I was ready to go. I did an interview after that. That fight's actually on YouTube. And at the interview, I was like, I'm ready to take on anybody, anyone.
Yeah.
So I get a call from Greg Kalikas, who was the promoter and owner of the NAAFS at the time. And he goes, we don't fight you. We got to fight for you. I said, oh yeah, who you got? He goes, he's a guy who just got out of paramedic school. He's ready to get back in the game. His name is Stipe Miocic. And I said,
oh, shit.
Let's do it. Had no idea who he was at the time.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, let's go. What's his record? 2-0? I'm 2-0. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Needless to say, the fight fell through. Marcus from Strong Style at that time was just like, we want to give him another fight, that kind of thing. Cool.
Yeah.
So they ended up putting me up against John Hedges, sorry. He was the 2006 National Amateur Heavyweight Champion. So I fought him.
Yeah.
And that was where I suffered my first defeat. I got thumbed in the eye, and I had an eye that I think it was my left eye, completely swelled up, had a blood hematoma, sealed my eye shut, and I lost my doctor stoppage in the 3rd round.
Jeez.
I'm not going to go through my entire fight history from here, but I took 8 fights in the first year of my MMA career, ending 2007 and a title fight against UFC veteran Josh Stansberry, who put me in the hospital. I had to have reconstructive surgery on my lip.
Oh, okay.
It was my lip. He split my lip in half, and I had to have reconstructive surgery. And then the promoter stiffed me on the bill, which
wow,
18-year-old, 19-year-old kid at the time.
Now I'm curious about that. So, like, is that the way it is for all MMA promotions? Like, is it you handle your own bills, or are they supposed to?
Okay, so
That's crazy.
You get insurance. The promotion is supposed to have an insurance.
Yeah.
Okay, to be able to hold shows, they have to have an insurance. When you get hurt and you have to go to the hospital, there's a certain deductible, and you have to meet that deductible. If you go to the hospital and you go, oh, I'm fine, and they don't do shit, you're gonna end up getting stuck with the bill. But if you go and you're like, hey, I need an X-ray, and you know what, I'm feeling a little concussed, let's go ahead and get a
MRI,
CAT scanner, let's get all this. It starts to rack up. Then you're gonna be able to fall under the their insurance up to a certain amount. But when you get a promoter who goes, hey, well, you signed the waiver,
like that, dude,
then it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting stuck with the bill. And I'm not going to mention any promoters locally in Ohio just because I have a little bit of class. I'm like that douchebag, but he knows who he is and he's a piece of shit. But he's been doing that to fighters locally. And
now here's the thing: you tell me, and then I'll say it into the mic because I have no class.
You're a classy lady, Chris. Are you kidding?
But no, that's how that's supposed to work. Like I got injured in my a year ago in Millersburg. I fought a kid and I almost knocked him. I actually did knock him out in the first round, and he recovered very well actually. And then he kept hitting me in the side. He kept low kick, and then he faked the low kick, and my hand dropped, and I took a right straight into the eye. Damn. And I completely lost sight in my right side. And the next thing you know, it felt like my body teleported from the center of the cage up against the fence. And I was like, oh, I just got knocked out. But I had a hold of him. He ended up taking me down. I ended up losing the fight late in the first round. I think there was 13 seconds left in the round. And it was just by referee stoppage. But I had a possible detached cornea, a retina. I had a scratched cornea, and I had a concussion. He had a concussion and a broken foot. So we messed each other up. It was a really fun fight. It was my first fight back in 9 years, but I was able to go to the hospital, and I fell under the got insurance. Yeah, I got all the insurance, and plus I have the Veteran Affairs, the VA insurance too, as a backup. Yeah, it's nice just in case. Yeah, but damn. But yeah, so I fought for a long time. I trained for a long time during the heydays of MMA, back when it was in its infancy in Ohio, and there wasn't a lot of gyms. I bounced around. There was one gym. First one I trained at was Rising Phoenix. That's not around anymore. Yeah. Team Domination was a team that we tried to create based off of the WDF.
Oh my God, I remember that.
Yeah, and that obviously never fell through because we never got a place for the gym. And then I ended up linking up with Russ Halsey through Pain Headquarters, and that was kind of like where I stayed until I ended up shipping out. And I ended up, my last fight until I went to the Army was in March of 2010. I knocked out Jared Carlisle in the second round. You should remember that. Big, tall guy. Seamus, yeah. He had a handlebar mustache. He was 6'5", 257.
Right down the street here. You fought
Aurelio's.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knocked him down 4 times in the fight, knocked him out in the second. And then 3 months later, I was in Fort Benning, Georgia, basic training. Crazy. Ready to go. I had to turn down title fights. Yeah. I was kind of like, trying to get back into the game. But yeah, at that point, I needed a change. So that's where
before you go on to the next chapter, do you believe, not as a form of regret, but do you believe that your MMA career almost took off in the wrong time? Like you said, now there's more gyms, more everything. Do you almost wish you were a product of today's environment rather than your decade?
Yeah. If MMA was like how it is now, and I was 10 years younger, my career would have been completely different. Yeah. My first 8 fights, I didn't have a gym. Yeah. I trained independently for the most part. I was out of shape. I had no experience. There wasn't a lot of, if you knew a guy who knew how to do an armbar, guess what? Congratulations, sir. You're our new jiu-jitsu instructor. Wow. You didn't have that. There wasn't a lot there. Right? Strong style was around, but they were 45 minutes to an hour away, and they were, expensive. I mean, they still are expensive, but I mean, hell, it's worth it at the time. If you're close by, they're the only gym, and they are a very reputable gym, and obviously have produced UFC talent. But like in Akron, even now, there's only like 2 gyms in Akron with Apex Fight Systems where I train out of, and I think like Savage MMA, which is a piece of shit gym. But like, I mean, then you got like Ryan Madigan, who's got WKA in Cuyahoga Falls, but he's primarily a kickboxing Muay Thai gym. He does offer jiu-jitsu and stuff like that, but you won't see a lot of WKA fighters fighting mixed martial arts right now. And I know that because I record these shows. You know, I know all the promoters, I know all the matchmakers. I record for several promotions, and trust me, there's not. I think I've recorded one guy who fought for WKA, and Ryan Madigan wasn't even in his corner, I don't think. So it's just one of those, like, finding a gym now. You're gonna have to travel. You have to go to Cleveland. You're gonna have to go to T County. You're gonna have to go to Route 250 in New Philly. There's, you know, it's slim pickings right now, and MMA in Ohio is not. It's kind of weird. Training wise, it's better now than it was 15 years ago. But competitively, it was better 15 years ago than it is now. Like there was better promotions, there was better fighters. I mean, I fought when I started fighting. It was the days of Stipe. It was, you know, Jessica I was fighting. It just started. She was demolishing everybody. Stipe was killing everybody. We had Jeff Hughes. You know, we had John Hedges, Josh Stansberry. Okay, I'm missing a ton of names too. I mean, those just the heavyweights. I'm not even scratching the surface. I mean, I fought on cards with Sean Salmon, who got knocked out against Rashad Evans, that devastating knockout in the UFC. I fought Jason Dent, who was on The Ultimate Fighter, John Gunther, who was on The Ultimate Fighter. I mean, I've fought on cards with these guys. I've interviewed these guys, have talked to these guys, you know, and been around them for over a decade. You know, so it is a catch-22. Like I said, the training was better now, but the competition, the level of competition, and the love for MMA was better back then. It's a lot different now. It's a lot more political now.
Take us through your post-MMA career.
Post-MMA career. So when I go in the Army, I went in the Army, needed a change. I'm one of those guys who doesn't know what they want to do in life. You know, there are kids who go, I want to be a fireman. I want to be a police officer. And that's what they do. I am a guy who goes, you know, I'm going to watch Rocky. And then next week I want to be a professional boxer. And then I'm going to watch, you know, Ladder 49. And now I want to be a fireman. You know, my mind is constantly turning and changing as to what I want to do based on my current interest. There isn't a lot. And
what interest makes you want to get your ass beat? Because I had never understood that. I've never understood that, though, honestly. Like, I get the, like, outlet, but, like, I'm like, I did martial arts, not MMA. Like, I mean, I did, like, Kung Fu and Taekwondo, like, little bullshit. I never understood, hey, I want to wake up today, train to go in the ring and have my cornea detached, because that's exciting to me.
I'll give you the tough guy answer. I just like get punched in the face, bro. No, that's the cliche. That's the cliche answer. Me, I like competition. I'm a competitive guy, and I was being groomed as a young age. I should have got into this. I completely forgot about this actually, but I was being groomed to be a professional athlete as a young kid. Like I said, I was very good at football, and everybody told me I was going to be in the NFL one day. My mom, my grandparents, coaches, friends of their parents of friends, everyone told me, you know, I was that good. And I mean, I was inducted in the touchdown club. I was 2-time defensive player of the year, team MVP. I was honorable mention my sophomore year, but then I was all city 2 years in a row. I was all district 2 years in a row. I was a good football player, but I'm 5'7". All right. And I went to Ohio State Combine, and Jim Tressel himself was like, you're too short to play Division I football. And it kind of just destroyed everything. I had 82 scholarship offers my senior year. And only one school was like, hey, we want you to play fullback. Just take the ACTs and get an 18. Well, guess what? I'm stupid. And I got a 15 twice. So I lost a scholarship because of my academics because I didn't have anybody that said, hey, dude, you're really good at football, but you should probably worry about your academics because if you don't do well here, you're going to fail here.
Yeah.
So
Good
my whole
message.
life, I was just being groomed for a professional athlete. So in my head, I wanted to do something like that. So when I became an adult and I got invited to try out for the arena team, the Cleveland Gladiators. I turned it down. I was like, no, I'm done with football.
Yeah.
I mean, my dreams were shattered. But fighting was the only thing when I was 18 that was readily available to me as a professional sport.
Yeah.
I can't just walk on a football team in the NFL and play. No, but I can build up a name for myself. I can brand my name. And if I'm a successful fighter, then, hey, I can turn pro.
It opens other doors for you.
Yeah. And so that I was competitive wise. And yeah, I always wanted to be a professional athlete.
Yeah.
And even now I'm 33 years old and I'm still trying to be a professional athlete.
Yeah.
I'm just finding different ways to do it.
Different avenues.
You know,
You're a professional mini golfer.
Yeah. Not after my latest championship round. Jesus.
So then to Chris's point, so you get out of fighting and then you do the military just as a change of pace.
I needed to make a choice. I mean, I was 22 at the time. I obviously wasn't going to college. I wasn't going to be getting any further education. I tried the college thing twice, dropped out twice, just wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
And I needed a change of pace. I needed to get out of Ohio. My daughter was 3, and I was like, dude, like I need something else. I'm a security guard. I'm working Akron public school basketball games, checking people at metal detectors for $9 an hour.
Yeah.
I'm doing security at Malone University for $9.50 an hour. I looked at the guys there. There's a dude that worked there for 10 plus years, was still making $9.50 an hour.
Jeez.
It wasn't worth it. And there was nothing for me. So my whole family was military. My grandfather was a Navy SEAL in Vietnam. My dad was a 27-year Army vet. And I was like, this is it. I'm just going to go in.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, going to recruiter, fat as fuck. I want to be in the Army.
Right.
Sorry, dude, you're too fat.
Yeah.
So now I can't do something because of my weight.
Yeah.
Well, at least I had, a method. I was able to lose the weight at least. So I looked at Rich Career. I said, I'll be back in a few months. So 3 months later, I came back and I was, I think I was like 220 pounds. It was like 222 or something like that.
You lost a lot of weight, man.
I came back and I remember coming in and I said, hey, man, you guys weigh and tape me before. I was too big. I want to do it again. And he's like, oh, all right, let's go ahead and weigh this guy again. And I actually made weigh and tape. And he goes, holy shit, let's start the paperwork. And it was like from there, it went fast.
Yeah.
And
how do you lose that much weight that quickly?
A lot of cardio and diet, honestly. It's really there's no rhyme or reason.
Kind of different for everyone.
Yeah, it's like I had a shit metabolism, but honestly, it was like you just clean up what you eat, and it's just you burn more calories than you eat.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's
Keep
really
pounding that jug of water.
Right.
And it's
lots of water.
And it's appreciated when you're an opponent of this guy and you can actually lift him off his feet for once.
But that's twice that you lost a lot of weight very quickly. I mean, that's some people struggle with that. Even like putting forth a valiant effort and
I think the first time was I lost 141 was the total, and I did that. That was to get into the Army, because when I got out of basic, I was 190 pounds, and from there I went to basic training, Fort Benning, Georgia. I was infantry. Had an awesome time there. It was really fun. And then I got stationed in Kentucky, 101st Airborne Division with 3187 Iron Rakkasans. It was the 3187 is the most they're the most awarded battalion in the entire Army.
Okay.
Just back in the days of like Vietnam. You've seen Hamburger Hill.
Yeah.
That's what my battalion was after that movie.
Okay.
That was them.
And Kentucky's where you met your wife, right?
Yes. Yeah. My wife, Jessica, is where we met. She's an Army brat. So I was in a very, very bad relationship before her. I accidentally, I hooked up with a tag chaser. Yeah. You know what a tag chaser is? She is, a tag chaser is when somebody is only with you for your military benefits. And once it becomes apparent that you're, like, say you're getting out of the military and she's going to lose those benefits, or you're not, because at 10 years, if you're married and at 10 years and you retire and you get divorced, she gets half of your retirement. And that's what a lot of these tag chasers will do. So,
oh my God.
We dated for 9 months. She cheated on me the entire 9 months. I was too blind to see. She completely derailed my military career.
Jeez.
And that was, I mean, she was the reason why my military career was as bad as it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I was messed up because of that person, she convinced me to move off post. I dumped $5,000 into to a house, furniture. She had 4 kids. I mean, I look back on myself and I just want to slap the shit out of me. I can't believe that I can't believe that I did that.
Yeah.
And she wasn't even that good looking of a girl to begin with. I don't know. I honestly don't know why I was so attached to her. Yeah. I don't understand.
It happens, man.
Yeah. And then she was the beginning of the end of my military career. And if it's one thing that you need to know about the military, more the Army, no matter how much you love the Army, they'll never love you back as equally.
Yep.
So they tried to help me as much as they could, but once I was like, it was just not going to happen.
Yep.
And what happened with me is I ended up gaining back weight. And I was around 230, 240 pounds at that point. And that's, even though I was a big dude, I was strong, I was a machine gunner. I was a really bad runner.
Yeah.
And my battalion and my company were known for running. We ran 5 miles a day, and we ran 10 milers once a week. And then I fell out of every single run. I was a shitbag.
Yeah.
I was obese. I was morbidly obese to military standard, and I was hated by my command.
Yeah.
And I had injured my back, lifting weights, and they almost didn't let me deploy. But my first sergeant talked to me into deploying. He said, "Rip up that profile. You're going to deploy with us." And I was like, hell yeah, he wants me to go.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Turns out that his intention was he wanted me to deploy, rip up my profile so he can give me a PT test. And when I failed it, he was going to kick me out of the Army.
Yeah. Wow.
If I didn't rip up the profile and I would have stayed behind, I would have had to finish my contract, and I would have had an opportunity to lose the weight and possibly re-enlist. But I deployed. I went to Afghanistan. He tried to keep me in the talk for as long as he could. I was basically responding to calls and stuff like that, watching people. And my unit was going out. 2 years I trained to be a machine gunner in an infantry unit. I go to Afghanistan to do my job, and now I'm sitting at a desk for 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
So they finally were like, you know what, fuck it, let him out. So I rejoined my platoon, and we started going out. And that's when I started seeing some of the crazy shit. And I won't get too in detail with that.
Yeah.
But that's when I started seeing some weird stuff. And that's where, like, a lot of my I lost a lot of respect, more specifically for religion over there. But
I know it's tough for veterans to talk about their experiences and all that. Based on what you've seen, publicized over here, how much of it do you think we as Americans understand about your situation over there? Like, give me a percentage.
A percentage, like how many people don't understand?
What do you how
I know you're at, like, the views that they portray to us, that, like, what it is compared to what it actually is when you're there. Like, what the media portrays, what it's like in the day of being over there, what war is really like compared to being there.
It's
how
over
closely do they
dramatized, just over dramatized. People think, when they think of war, they think of, like, Saving Private Ryan shit. It's not. It's actually really boring, followed by 10 minutes of complete and utter chaos.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give you an example. This is what happened to me. One of my incidents over there. We had gotten when we ripped out the last unit. They specifically told our CO, like, "Hey man, don't go to Zambar, Afghanistan. Zambar is a black zone. You're not welcome there." It's a whole city. Just don't. They air assaulted in. They're like, don't drive. Just don't do it. Save yourself, the trouble and the aggravation. Well, our CO didn't listen, and we didn't air assault in. We drove. Jeez. We hit 4 IEDs on the way there. Luckily, we went. It was a like battalion wide like mission.
Yeah.
So we had EOD with us already, so it wasn't as long. But a 20-minute drive took hours to get to because of this. We finally get there. There's an A&A outpost at the bottom of a hill that's already been zeroed in by enemy mortar fire, which means they're hitting it all the time. They already know. They don't need to adjust anything. They already have it. They're just hitting it. We set up around the fucking AO. So our CO has us centered around an AO that's already been zeroed in by the Taliban in the mountains.
Right.
So we're set up, and almost immediately we start getting mortared.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, this is fun. And I'm not in the truck. I'm in the turret, just sitting there like, anytime, anytime now. But I started to doze off because I'm sitting in the damn truck for 16 hours, just dozing off. And apparently we spotted a guy digging a hole. He was planting an IED on the way out, and we decided to drop a 500-pound JDAM on him. Just one guy, and it looks like a mushroom cloud. And it, I was half asleep. It dropped. It woke me up, and this was like 800 meters away. I snapped up, and I was like, and I look over and see a mushroom cloud. And my first thought was, if that's what they're hitting us with, get me the fuck out.
Right.
Like that was my first thought. That's what their mortars are.
Fuck.
No, turn the truck around. We're getting the fuck out.
Jeez.
So, and I looking at my driver. Hey, what the hell is that? That was us. We dropped a 500-pound JDAM on him. Okay, cool. Comes over the radio. Hey, you guys got to go down there and pick up body parts. BDA crew.
Jesus.
Body damage assessment crew. Some shit like a BDA.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. He did.
Right.
So we get down there. We set up, and then again we set up security and teams out there picking up body parts. So I'm watching guys picking up legs and arms and stuff. I saw a dog pick up a guy's half of his face. And the dog's running away with it. They're chasing the dog. They're shooting the dog because they need his face. And then all of a sudden, a mortar lands 30 meters behind me. Just a little smoke. My driver goes, hey, Carreiro, how far back is that? Because he needed to know if he needed like reposition. I stood up and turned around. And when I turned back around to tell him, a recoilless rifle round landed 3 feet away from me. And then a mortar hit the front of the truck. And I don't really remember too much after that. Like I was in the truck. I remember being in the truck. I only lost consciousness for a second, but that's long enough. Dude. And I immediately, like when I woke up, I just saw dust. My hearing was gone, and I was like checking under my body armor to see if I was like bleeding.
Yeah.
I wasn't bleeding. I wasn't hit. It took me a minute. My head was really dazed. I remember asking the driver for a cigarette, and he's like, I refused at that moment. I refused to get back up in the turret. And I was like, I don't want to do that. He goes, what the hell? He's like, I need you up there. So I ended up getting back up there, and he ended up backing the truck up like 12 feet. Like that was going to make a fucking difference. But so those were just incidents like just that. And we didn't get back for 3 days. So I was stuck in that truck for 3 days, and my knees were, on the way back, we were taking so much mortars and attack. They told me to like crouch down and shut the hatch. So I was bundled up in a ball, and my knees are terrible because of that.
Yeah, dude.
And my knees are still popping and locking and shit now. It's terrible.
And if you're claustrophobic, forget it.
Oh yeah.
Well,
like, I would be in hell.
Full gear, crouched in there. There's not a lot of room to begin with.
I was over 400 pounds with full kit.
Yeah, dude.
So
jeez.
It was rough. But yeah, it was, like I said, as far as media goes and how people think it is over there, man, it's not what people think. Yeah. It's not Call of Duty. You're not fighting the good fight most of the time. Most of the time you're sitting in your hooch, doing guard duty, just dicking around. People used to joke, and it's sad that people joked about this, but people used to joke that like it was a game. How long can you go without killing yourself? Jeez. And we had people that did when we found guys that had blew their brains out in a porta potty.
So was it your daughter that kept you motivated to, see another day and to keep going?
Honestly, I didn't really think about Emma when I was over there. I really didn't. I kind of accepted the fact that I could have died at any second. So I wasn't really thinking about family. When I did think about family, it was just, I just can't wait to get home. I want to leave this fucking place. You know, we watched a woman get stoned to death in a bazaar. We saw, I wasn't there for this, but I saw it, them coming back. I had one of my team leaders. There was an IED that went off in the bazaar, and one of our other platoon, one of our squads was out, and I saw one of my team leaders holding a little girl wrapped up in a white sheet covered in blood. You know, it's not what people think it is, and they genuinely hate us over there.
Oh yeah,
it really is. I mean. We had even the A&A, the guys that we're training to take back over their province, they know what's going on. I mean, the first IED that I was involved with, we had a stagger. It was us, them in a vehicle rotation, and our lead Vic drove up, and their Vic stopped to let our vehicle get hit by the IED. They knew it was there.
Yeah.
They didn't tell anybody. That's how bad it is over there. They just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think people here they take for granted what they already have or what they don't have, because I mean, we would get shot at and we jump into an enemy slip trench full of shit. That's their toilet. You know, people complain because they lose their fucking Wi-Fi here for 5 minutes, but over there, there is nothing like that. There's no phones. A little sat phones or whatever, but there's not even running water. We weren't allowed to drink the water there without getting dysentery. You know, there's a lot over there that, you know, they don't have. I remember when I was coming home, I got rid of my boots because they're all fucked up. Yeah. And A&A workers on our JCOP, they took my boots.
Can I have them?
Yeah. Wow. Here you go. Take it. Yep. I used to give kids candy and food all the time. Yep. Funny story. Because there's a lot of bad that happens over there, but there's at least one funny story, and this always makes me laugh no matter how messed up it is. So we weren't allowed to give them candy or water or anything like that, but we didn't give a shit. We did it anyway. Well, we're on our way back, and we had water bottles on us just in case, like our Camelback had run dry, and we're like 300 meters away from our JCOP, and our PL was like, fuck it, you know, let's go ahead and give them water. There was a line of kids on a mound of dirt just kind of like behind us, you know, they would just follow us. That's what they did. And he turns around and he tosses his water bottle up in the air. And it's like playing like in slow motion. This kid comes out. And I like to imagine that he was so thirsty, you know, the music starts playing, bum, 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 bum. And he's reaching out, and all of a sudden, this other kid comes up and fucking hits him in the face with a cricket bat.
Oh my God.
Takes the water, takes the fuck off. The funniest thing, hands down, I've ever seen, at least in that country. Funniest shit. I mean, this kid was probably like, he's dying of hydration, you know, he's dying of thirst. He's about to get some fresh, purified water, whap, right in the face.
Well, gonna have to wait another day.
Down for the count. Hey, survival of the fittest, right?
Anywhere.
Take us through your return back to the States. As far as, you know, your mentality. You know, I know you were afraid initially before you became a soldier that you were worried your life wasn't going to have purpose. Did that still exist when you got back?
Yes. And that's because I expected to succeed in the military. And when it was made apparent that I wasn't, I was back at square one. I just feel like I wasted 3 years of my life. And I just didn't accomplish anything. I didn't have any job training. I literally went back into security when I came home. But when I got out, I came home, and 3 weeks later, I was back in Ohio.
Yeah.
So I was in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
3 weeks later, Ohio. No army, no military, no reintegration, nothing.
Yeah.
That's very difficult to do. You go from a third world country where this is how the lifestyle is for 6 months.
Yep.
You spent years training with the same guys, the same brotherhood.
Yep.
You know, for years of training, and then you get kicked out just like that.
Yep.
My pride was hurt. I was very angry.
Yeah.
and I was pissed off at the world, and everyone pissed me off. If you complained about something so little,
Petty. Yeah.
so petty, I snapped on you.
Yeah.
I was afraid to leave the house. I rarely left the house. I didn't like to drive.
Yep.
I at one point I didn't leave the house for so long I forgot how to get gas.
Yep.
I got there, I was like, shit, is it 87 or 89?
Yep.
I didn't have no idea how to talk to people.
It's interesting to hear that, because so my older both my brothers are Army vets, but my older brother is the same way as you, and I've never like had someone really openly talk about that. But it's interesting to hear, because he didn't want to leave the house. He wouldn't go anywhere without his wife. He never drove, like, and it's weird. Like, we are always like, maybe it's because he's really attached to Danielle, but obviously there's more to that. And we knew he had PTSD. He saw a lot of fucked up shit.
Right.
But it's interesting how it affects people differently, that institutionalization, you know, and like people that go to jail, same thing. People that go to jail for a long time and they get out, that's all they know, and then they go back in. Or people that continuously re-enlist in the military because it's all they know.
Yeah, what they call it, institutionalized in Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just interesting to hear you say that, because we, like my brother, a lot of those exact same characteristics, and he was never really vocal about it. He doesn't talk a lot about, you know, the tours and stuff he did, but it's interesting that exact same characterization.
Yeah. And that's where like a lot of my weight gain came back, you know, like I didn't like being home.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting a job on an oil rig, which took me away from my family for 2 weeks at a time. Come back for 2 weeks, gone for 2 weeks. It was good money. It was like $90,000 a year.
Yeah.
But my body just couldn't handle the workload. I didn't like being away from home. It was hurting my marriage. So like 5 or 6 months later, I did that for a little bit. Came home, right back into security.
Yeah.
And I started just gaining the weight. And it's like I gained it faster, and I developed a fast food addiction. My wife had to get up in the morning and get me Burger King. At the time, it was like these 4 for $4 breakfast croissants.
Yep.
From Burger King. She had to get me that, and she had to get me a BK Ultimate Breakfast. And if she didn't, I lost my shit.
Snap.
Wow.
Yeah.
I treated my kids like shit.
Yeah.
I treated my wife like shit, my family like shit. I would purposely pick fights with people on social media. I got into an argument with a lady at the fucking dentist because she told me to not take my kids for granted, and I told her to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know, I just didn't get along with a lot of people. I had friends that were like, dude, you're not the same person you were. And they're like, you need to get help. And I tried, but the VA doesn't know what to do with PTSD. And they don't know how, there's no way to really fix it. You just got to talk it out. I didn't want to talk it out. These people at the VA clinic didn't know what I had seen or done or heard or experienced. So how the fuck are they going to help?
They're going to relate to you.
They tried to medicate me. Didn't work.
Do you think in that regard, it's almost like veterans helping other veterans is probably the best way to go?
It has to be.
Yeah.
I mean, they told me to go to meetings and stuff like that. I just didn't want to.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hear somebody else's sap story, and I didn't want to
talk about your own. Yep.
And
you're just constantly reliving it at that point.
I mean, my wife would tell you, she'll tell you like, and I give a lot of props to Jess. She should have divorced me 80 times, dude. She could have left me so many times, and she
based on your dressing choices alone.
Right. But
we say the same thing about my sister-in-law with my older brother. Like, I give her so much credit.
Yeah.
We joke about it because I mean, he knows too. He even says like, I can't believe it, but
I really can't. Like, I never, just to be clear, I never hit her.
Yeah.
I never did anything like that. You know, I was just very mentally abusive.
Yep.
And
it takes a man to recognize that too.
And then, like I said, I just, even now I still have anger problems, but the final snapping point was me and my friend of 28, 29 years. We got into an argument. Well, sorry, we didn't get out. Me and my wife got into an argument. We used to have game night at my house, and me and my wife got in an argument or something. I can't remember what it was. And she ended up leaving. She's like, game night's over. And she left to go to the garage to smoke. And my friend Matt's fiance, now wife, Amber, went to go after her, and it was just me and Matt at the table, and I was like talking to myself like I was talking to my wife who was not at the table. And I was having a conversation with her, like I was talking and answering myself, like she was talking back to me. And I was getting angrier and angrier and angrier and angrier. And when she came back in the house to apologize, I snapped.
Had escalated it yourself.
And I like knocked the jug of water off my table and I started screaming. And then I went outside because Matt's like, "Hey, let's get you outside. Let's get you outside." And then I was like, "Listen, you guys need to go. Like you and your girlfriend need to go. I need to cool the fuck down." So I come in the house and Amber's there, and I said, "Amber, I need you guys to go." And she goes, "Oh, we're leaving anyway because I'm not going to sit here and let you talk to your wife that way." And I fucking snapped. I think I like arm swiped like all the liquor bottles off our table. I was also under the influence of alcohol at the time. I swiped all the liquor bottles off the table at her. And they just smashed up against things. And then Matt, protecting his girlfriend, started like pressing into me, like pushing me back. Like I think he was going to try to restrain me. And as soon as my back hit the wall, I like tossed him. And we got into a fight, and I busting his mouth up and busting his face up a little bit.
Jeez.
And he gets up, and I'm like screaming at him, like, "I'm not gonna hurt her, I wasn't gonna hurt her, And I'm like losing my shit. And then like I finally calmed down a little bit. He goes, "You need to get help." And he took me to the hospital psych ward to basically admit myself. And they were like, "Are you gonna hurt yourself?" And I was like, "Fuck no, I'm gonna kill someone else." And they're like, "Oh, well, as long as you're not gonna hurt yourself, get the hell out of here."
Like, maybe you should be at the post office instead.
Maybe.
It's a broken system, man.
So yeah, exactly.
It's
just, I mean, if I wanted the vacation, I could have just been like, "Oh yeah, I'm suicidal," but I was never suicidal. And I've had guys, like there are a couple people that were in my platoon that are no longer with us because of suicide. And so, but I can honestly say I never thought about suicide. It was never really my thing. I just hated everybody else. And I hated everybody else so much to the point that I was just afraid to leave the house. And I basically wasted 4 or 5 years of my life. And then again, my weight started going up. And the heavier I got, the more out of shape I got, the worse I felt, the more angrier I got because I wanted to change it, but I just couldn't. I had no motivation. I was afraid to leave the house. So I ate because I was unhappy,
It's a vicious
unhappy
cycle.
because I ate, that kind of thing. And I was almost 400 pounds at this point. And
down from 220 when you got in. Jeez.
As far as low as 190.
Wow.
Now I'm pushing 400. And I remember it happened almost immediately, like overnight. I started urinating every 5 minutes, like almost on a dot every 5 minutes. And I was like, this is weird. Whatever. My wife, who was was in paramedic school at the time, goes, "That sounds like diabetes." And I was like, "Nah, it ain't diabetes. It ain't. And so I ended up getting like a cyst on my thigh, and it got really infected and like swelled up to like the size of a softball. And I went to the ER, and I was like, "Yeah, it's just not healing. It's been like that for weeks. I don't know what's going on." And they took my blood sugar, and it was 590. Wow. And they were like, "How the hell are you like walking around?" And they're like, "Are you diabetic?" And I was like, "I don't know. No. You're not taking any medication? No. You've never been diabetic? No. I have no idea what you're talking about, dude." So they started me on metformin, and I went to my doctor, and then they did blood work, and they said that my urine was like syrup. I had so much sugar in my urine. And my blood sugar was over 500 for 3 months. And they were worried that I did permanent damage to my liver and my pancreas. And my eyesight was starting to go. And I had eye corrective surgery when I was in the military. And I was like, that was going to, I had neuropathy in my fingers and my feet. I had sleep apnea. My triglyceride levels were well over 3,000.
God damn.
I was constantly dizzy. My blood, I can't remember what my blood pressure was. But I was in very bad shape. And my doctor was like, "Listen, dude, you might want to think about weight loss surgery. And I was like, fuck you. I don't need that shit. I could do this on my own.
Yeah.
So I was really stubborn, in denial. So I tried to fight it for a year, taking metformin, having an allergic reaction to metformin, and I get something else. I refused to do insulin because I'm a fear of needles.
Yeah.
And just because I was so stubborn, and my doctor finally was like, hey, dude, you're going to die.
Right.
You know that, right? And based on my blood work, he said, if you don't change your life within 6 months, you're going to have your first heart attack. Jesus. And I was 28 years old.
And as a witness to Norm's condition, so we're going back to the mini golf league for a second. We had a game in 2015. Norm was playing in the regular season, and he was going against 2 other golfers. I was the referee, of course. And we're playing, and not even 9 holes into this game, and he's like losing it. Like you can see, like he sits down at first.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, maybe his knee's bothering him. He just needs a second. I said, take a second, breathe.
Right.
Chill out. But I noticed like he's sweating. I mean, like profusely, really bad. So I asked him if he was okay. He told me he couldn't breathe. He's having palpitations. And so I told him, I said, do you need anything whatsoever? Like, what can I do? I'm ready to call 911 for this dude. He says, I just need a water, whatever. Dude, I ran faster than I've ever run in my life. I mean, I go right in, I get a bottle of water, practically stole the damn thing.
Yeah.
And bring it back out to him. I mean, so my point of all this is, where we were playing too, there's not a lot of walking that goes into that course.
Right.
So like, this is how bad he was, that by hole 7, he was pretty much minutes from death.
This was going on during this point where you're seeing the doctor about changing your lifestyle.
Yeah, this was
like, these are like,
this was
close
maybe
to the
a little
timeline.
before, because it's a little before. Yeah. He goes on to do something else.
Yeah. It wasn't, I don't remember exactly when that was.
It was 15.
Was it 15?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, 17 was when I had that the life altering surgery.
Okay.
But
so this is leading up to that. So you're seeing yourself.
I was just kind of testifying what his condition was like.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he basically was like, hey dude, like you're gonna die, man. Like he's like, I hate to tell you this. He's like, but someone's gotta tell you. Because you got about 6 months. If you don't change your lifestyle, if you're still eating the way that you're eating, you're still living the way that you're living, you're probably going to have a heart attack based on your blood results, your test results. It's not going to happen, bro. And I was so stubborn. I just didn't want to hear it, man. I just didn't care. And my wife's like, why are you doing this to yourself? And I was like, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I really didn't. She's like, you don't care? I was like, I just don't. I don't care enough to change. And my buddy invited me to this was the turning point. My buddy's mom had bariatric weight loss surgery, and she was big her whole life. So she started losing a lot of weight from it. And I was like, oh, that's cool. How'd you do that? And she's like, oh, you just got to call the clinic. Just call Suma. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I just left it at that. And so 2 months later, my buddy invited me to a Disturbed concert at the Blossom.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember this picture.
I was sitting on a lawn chair.
Mm-hmm.
It was the low lawn chair, I was like, yeah, fuck it. I can sit in this. It's not going to break, right? I'm sitting in it, and I just whatever,
Yeah.
You never really know how bad you look until someone takes a picture.
See a picture of yourself. Yeah.
And my buddy took a picture of me, and I still thought that I was like smaller than I was, and I just didn't believe that I was as big as maybe I was. And he posted it on Facebook. He tagged me in it. Just like a normal picture,
Yeah.
And I looked at it, and my gut, sitting down like I am now, came out to my knees. And I remember just looking at that picture. Chris might be able to find it.
I'm trying to, but I was going to get your permission if I could find it.
Absolutely. But like, I looked at that picture, and I was like, Jess, is that what I really look like? And she's like,
yeah,
like hesitant, like she doesn't want to say like, yeah, because she might be pissed, but she's like, yeah, that's what you look like. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I look that big?
Camera adds 100 pounds.
Making excuses. I'm like, I don't know, man.
It's
like
a weird angle.
I went to my sister's graduation, and like we saw a fat dude, and I was like, that fat piece of shit. My brother's like, you look like that. That's basically what you. It's like he's like, you're bigger than that dude. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you're bigger than him. And I was like, do I really look that big, man? And he's like, yeah, dude, like, I don't think you understand how big you are.
Yeah.
So, but it was after that picture that I, 2 weeks later, I called Sumo and I was like, hey, I want to talk about bariatric surgery. And I was so skeptical about the way that I looked. I actually went into this appointment going, they're not gonna, there's no way. I'm too small. I'm not big enough. I'm not unhealthy. I walked in and they're like, so your BMI is 58. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, you're like deathly obese. You just skip
That's
you know,
crazy.
like you're bad. Again, 5'7". Yeah, good.
It's crazy to think about though, because like, I mean, that is heavy, but I feel like it doesn't seem like it's that, like you're to that point where it's that awful. Because I mean, I see larger people all the time. And it's like, are they all living through that same thing?
You might be
Does it have
surprised.
to do with you gaining weight so quickly?
Yeah, yes, that's what I was gonna say. Like there are people that I know who have been big their whole life.
Yeah,
and they you know, in high school maybe they were 300 and something, 375 pounds, and then as an adult they're now 400, but they've only had a 25-pound weight increase, right? I gained almost 200.
So dramatic.
Yeah, and it was so
sense.
fast. I mean, I split my abdominal muscles in half.
Yeah.
Where I had a diastasis recti.
Jeez.
I had hernia that I forgot about that. I had the hernia that I had to get fixed. I had like this giant lump in my stomach that was sticking out.
Yeah. You just put your body into shock because you gained weight so quickly.
And I gained weight. Yeah, it's like a pregnant woman, you know, because that's the thing is like I'm like trying to figure out how to close the abdominal gap, and I'm like all over the place. Is how pregnant women close the diastasis recti after pregnancy, because it's how fast they gain weight during pregnancy. That's how fast I gain weight during this process. I mean, you got to think I was 230 pounds in 2014. By 2015, I was almost 400.
That's insane.
So like I had gained so fast because I had the fast food addiction, man. That's all I ate was fast food every day, multiple meals a day. I could run through what I ate on a daily basis. You would be shocked.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, so I mean, you could stick three of my fingers in my stomach gap. Like it was nothing.
Wow.
It was bad. And then, so yeah, 2 weeks later, I call Suma, schedule the appointment. I get in there, skeptical. They're like, yep, you qualify. Luckily I had insurance that covered it. So started the process, but
is that the stomach stapling, or is that where they put like the little tube?
No, they stopped the lap band. They actually don't do that anymore.
Okay.
They actually gave me a couple options. It was, the Roux-en-Y gastric bypass or the vertical sleeve gastrectomy.
Okay.
I chose to go with the sleeve gastrectomy because I don't want anything rerouted. The gastric bypass is when they reroute your intestines and they shorten everything out. The vertical sleeve gastrectomy is when they take your stomach and they basically cut it in half. Like 85% of your stomach they cut out. Yep. So your stomach's this big.
So when you eat, you're full, like
immediately.
Basically.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
And my biggest thing, and they asked me, why do you want this instead of the gastric bypass? And I was like, I just want to be able to, I would like to eat like shit.
Yeah.
But, you know, I want portion control. Right. And that's what the sleeve does.
Yeah.
You know, and, so I had to go through, I think 10 months is the total time it took me from the time that I signed up until surgery date. First week of August, I think it was August 6th. 2016 is when I went in. June 21st, 2 days after my birthday, 2017 is when I had the surgery.
Jeez.
And then
that's a long time. I feel like
there's a lot of stuff you have to go through during that process.
That's the part that kind of pisses me off.
I understand, like if it was as severe as it is, it seems like, man, that's a long time to like risk.
I remember telling the doctor, I was like, dude, I could be dead this time.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You're going to die in 6 months, but 10 months from now, you can have the surgery.
Because we have another friend who's going through it right now, too. Yeah. And like at the same time, I'm like, what's taking so long with this?
Wild.
You know, every time there's an update.
Insurance-wise, you have to do a minimum 6 months of bariatric counseling. You have to see a nutrition and a dietitian. You have to lose 1 pound a month. At least my insurance was like this. Yeah. You have to lose 1 pound a month in order to remain eligible. You have to do once a month, you have to do blood work to make sure that your shit's good, that your liver enzymes are fine, all that stuff. And then once you complete you complete the classes that you have to do, you also have to be nicotine free for 90 days. Yeah. I quit chewing tobacco immediately. Cold turkey, I ran out of my last can of Grizzly wintergreen, and that was it, man. I never touched it again. And
yeah, they want to know you're serious. If they're going to spend the money, they want to know that you're committed to doing
it. And then so after the 6 months was up, all that bullshit. What took so long after that was my insurance approving it.
Yeah.
The lady fucked up, and my insurance declined it. And I thought it was over, man. I was like, what am I going to do now? But it turns out she just forgot to send in a certain piece of paper. She resubmitted it. They approved it. But it took 3.5 months from the time they approved it, which was 6 weeks after the time that it was, initially supposed to be approved.
Right.
It took 3.5 months to get the surgery date.
She had one damn job, man. It's going to cost you your life.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Jeez. She's lucky that you made it.
So you cut 85% of your stomach out. Is that still like, do they ever make it bigger? Or are you still eating 4 chicken nuggets and getting full?
No, your stomach naturally gets bigger over time anyway.
Yeah, it stretches out.
Yeah, it stretches out. So that's why you can't force feed yourself.
Yeah.
But I'm over 3 years out. My 3-year anniversary was this past June. So I would say now it ain't this big anymore.
Yeah.
But maybe it's like that now. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say, but I can eat significantly more than I used to.
Yeah.
I just figured out ways to eat more often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't.
That's what I was going to ask. So do you just have to snack more to?
Yeah.
Because I feel like you just not be able to get your nutrition at that point if you only have that tiny amount of space.
You're not getting what your body needs.
Right.
You have to take multivitamins your whole life, the rest of your life. You have to take multivitamins, B12, supplements your whole life.
Yeah.
And then, they over the years, again, you'll be able to eat more. Most of the people that get it are women, and they always have a problem with protein intake. Okay. I never had that problem. The biggest challenge for me was figuring out which meal plan works for me.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's different. And it was more than just, because like once you got done doing what they told you to do, which was like, oh, you're going to do a liquid diet for 10 days.
Yeah.
And then you're going to do a full liquid diet for 2 weeks. And then you're going to puree for 14 days. And then you could try whole foods, which the first time I had chicken 2 months after my surgery, I puked.
Yeah.
Puked it right back up. And it was just a little tiny piece too. My body my stomach couldn't handle it.
Jeez.
But 2 months after my surgery, I was 290. So that's how much weight I lost.
2 months, man.
Yeah. So I'd lost almost 100 pounds in 2 months.
Your body's just going, fuck, man.
God damn.
And then I hit a stall because I wasn't eating enough. That was the problem. It was now I was eating back then I was eating too much. Now I'm not eating enough. Right. I was eating 500 calories a day, and which is not enough if anybody wants to know.
There's no way.
And I had just started going to the gym. I had just started working out, and my body, when you start exercising, your body naturally just gets more hungry.
Yeah.
Your muscles demand more food, that kind of thing. So I just wasn't able to give my body more food. And I hit a stall. I was like 274, 275, like 275 for like 3 months. And I was like, there's no way that I'm stuck here.
Right.
Talked to my nutritionist. They said, hey, man, you got to eat a little bit more. And I was like, I can't. They're like, you got to trick your body.
Yeah.
Something. You got to figure it out. So what I did was I started buying chicken with the skin on it.
Okay.
Which increases the fat content of the food. And
you're not really eating much portion more, but you're just getting more content.
You're basically giving your body more calories through other means.
Yeah.
Whether it's through liquid, I would say fatty foods, the skin on a chicken. In a week I lost 25.
Yeah. Wow. You weren't eating enough, so your body wasn't burning it. It was storing it.
As soon as I increased my caloric intake, I lost 25 pounds within the first week.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I got down to like around where I'm at now. My weight now goes up and down, but my activity level was way different. I'm around 230 right now, but I don't look like I did when I was 230 last year.
Right.
You know, I'm a lot more muscular defined. My body has transformed. I also had a tummy tuck.
Yeah.
Because of all the loose skin.
Right.
So that really helped, which they repaired the diastasis recti. They put my abdominal muscles back together, reattached it to the walls, all that shit. So But yeah, the struggle of bariatric surgery was definitely there's a few is trying to figure out what meal works for you.
Yeah.
You're not allowed. I'm still not allowed to eat or drink anything within 30 minutes of each other. So I have to choose.
Wow.
Like if I'm really hungry and thirsty, I have to choose which one I want first.
Oh
What?
my God.
So you can't eat and drink at the same time?
No.
Oh fuck.
See, yeah, that sucks. That's a
basically,
combo for me.
That's like a permanent thing?
Yeah. I also can't take NSAIDs, like ibuprofen or nothing like that for the rest of my life. So anything in pain wise, I'm stuck with Tylenol, which if you guys know anything about Tylenol, don't do shit
Sucks.
for
Yeah, it's a
pain.
placebo.
So
I'm
wait,
stuck
do
with
you
pain.
not eat spicy food then? Because you can't have anything to drink.
No, I was never big on spicy food anyway, but I do eat
is
everything
blown.
with hot sauce now, just mild hot sauce, but it doesn't really do anything to me now. But yeah, I can't.
What the fuck?
So what's the reasoning for that? Like, what'll happen if you
Imagine stuffing a bread in a funnel, right? And then dumping water in there. Eventually it'll all liquidize and the bread will become soft and it'll just all go down at once. And you won't get any nutrition from the food. Your body will just, it'll dump it immediately. So if you're eating and drinking at the same time, plus you'll throw up. Like if I was to eat something right now and then start chugging water, I would throw up within a matter of seconds.
Basically refusing it.
Yeah. There's just too much going on right here.
Yeah.
You'll get stuck in your throat. I've drank water too much on an empty stomach. I've chugged water and then was like, oh God, I drank too much. And I leaned forward and it just
comes right out.
So it's they say chew your food for 15 seconds at a time per bite. No, I'm not doing that. Sorry.
Right.
Sorry, Sumo. I'm not doing that shit. They told me that
I gotta eat this quicker.
They're
so
like,
I get my
download.
drinks.
There's an app, a bariatric app that actually you turn it on
Times
and it's a
you
timer.
eating.
I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. I'm not gonna.
Right. Every bite of food.
Hell no, per bite.
Jeez.
Not gonna happen. So
Good Lord.
they also said I was never allowed to drink caffeine again. That's not gonna happen either. Sorry.
Wow.
I drink like a pot of coffee by myself every single day. I don't give
Yeah.
a shit. It doesn't do anything, and that's just for ulcers. I'm good.
Dude, my mind's blown about that. I never knew that.
Yeah, it is literally a lifestyle
Wow.
change. It is not like, oh yeah. It's also not an easy button. I know a lot of people are like, oh well, you lost all this weight because I lost 186 pounds.